Welcome back to Burning Issue Podcast. This is a special 4-episode series on a word we can't say on YouTube. Bovid-18. It was a pandemic in this book we read in 2020.
Right. Yep.
So, there's going to be an episode every day, all this week, about Bovid-18, different parts of it. So this first episode, we're going to be talking about origins and kind of like the overview of Bovid-18.
Yep.
So, what do you want to start with, James? You want to start with, I got some things.
Give them a little something on the origins, and then we'll kind of like go from there.
So, we got a couple of theories, or there's a couple of theories out in the world right now. We got, lab leak from Wuhan, and that can be dissected into other parts. Mm-hmm. Then we got, a potential bioweapon, the World Economic Forum, them boys. We got all that good stuff. So, man, I don't even know where to start. Let's see. So, let's talk about the lab leak theory. So, in Wuhan, whatever, reports of lax safety protocols and potential leaks prior to the outbreak in the Wuhan lab. And the U.S. intelligence suggests lab workers fell ill with COVID-like symptoms in late 2019. So a couple months before we even knew about COVID. Mm-hmm. Then we got, the government trying to suppress all that, saying, there's no virus. Remember that?
Yep.
Remember? It's just Chinese flu or whatever.
Yeah.
And I found this interesting. So, our boy Fauci. That lovable character. Actually, speaking of Fauci, didn't Putin, he wants Fauci arrested in Russia?
He want him extradited to over there. Yeah,
yep,
put him in the bottom of the jail.
So, Anthony Fauci and NIH emails show discussion on suppressing lab leak theories. So they're like, don't say that. And I got a bunch more about Fauci later on. Like Eco Health Alliances run by Peter Daszak received U.S. funding for virus research in Wuhan.
Gain of function. See, look, bro.
Yep. And then we got the NIH and NIAD, Fauci's group and agency, indirectly funded gain of function research, which is, gain of function involves modifying viruses to make them more transmittable and lethal. So he was indirectly funding that.
Yeah, aight.
Then we got emails leaked showing Fauci and top scientists discussing the possibility of lab origins, but later they said, no, we didn't say any of that. All this is public.
Look, bro, it's like saying, if you see something out in the wild and they got black and white stripes, what is that? That's a damn zebra. It ain't rocket science.
So, we got... multiple Chinese military scientists wrote about using coronavirus as a potential bioweapon.
Really?
Years before the outbreak.
Really?
Got anything to say about any of that, James?
Look, I mean, Will's kind of giving y'all a brief overview, but it is now confirmed that it came from Wuhan. Mm-hmm. We know that Obama and Fauci were caught using gain-of-function research during 2015, around 2017. And we remember Fauci, before Trump got in, he said, there's going to be a pandemic to hit this president, and it's going to cause him to really have to buckle down. And then when the shots came out, you got to take your shots. Get the booster. And, 2, 3, 4, 5 boosters and wear your mask.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't he, I could be remembering wrong, but wasn't he asked if his kids are vaccinated?
And he said no.
Okay, that's all. I mean, that's all you have to know for all you
vax people.
Look, and we're going to get into it next episode on the lockdown. But we have no problem with vaccinated people because they were fear mongered
absolutely
into getting the vaccine, and I'm going to go way in depth in that next episode, the lockdown episode. But that we have nothing against the vaccinated people. They were just fear mongered, and they were in the dark.
Right. And we don't have anything against vaccines like broad stroke.
Yeah.
But not with all the findings on this COVID stuff, if you still line up to get a COVID vaccine, then you know what I'm saying, you missing something.
Yep.
You missing something. So, yeah, I mean, we know it came from Wuhan. We know that the U.S. government colluded with the Chinese government to do this and bring this upon the world because they wanted it to be this stepping stone to a bigger locus of control. But when the people figured it out, you know what I'm saying? You know the analogy, if you put the frog in boiling water, it jump out. You know, if you slowly turn up the heat, it don't jump out. But if you switch it fast, it jump out. Yep. And they switched it too fast. So, yeah. So that's a little bit about the origin. We could talk a little. What you want to talk a little bit about the effects, or you got something else you want to say?
You can go into the the effects.
All right, so
of the origins.
So look, we all know that the COVID-19 lockdowns were very tumultuous, not only economically, but physically, emotionally, mentally on everyone. Because it's not. This is something you've never seen before. I'm sure when we write history books in 20 years, it's gonna be in it. Yep. So, Professor Rose Scott, she did a study on how COVID-19 lockdown or COVID-19 affect childhood development. And what she found was children tested before the pandemic, they performed slightly better than those who tested afterward. In one test, 80% of pre-lockdown 5-year-olds passed, while only 63% of post-lockdown children succeeded. So that's a crazy drop. What is that? That's a crazy drop. Children from lower income backgrounds were disproportionately affected. Only 51% passed. Why? Because they already had garbage education. So if you put it online, they just sitting in there fidgeting around and stuff, not paying attention to the Zoom call. So what was COVID-19? What was the lockdown designed to do? Not only bring fear, but to break your spirit. Because look, if you're sitting inside 15, 16 hours a day, not interacting with your friends, you know, just naturally as a human being, your morale is going to be down. Because we were meant to interact with one another. We were meant to trade ideas and do everything else and spread germs to one another so that we learn to be immune to stuff.
What did you say on Suppress Reality? Kids are supposed to eat dirt?
Kids are supposed to eat dirt, dig in their nose, stick their finger in their nose, stick it in their mouth, stick it in another kid's ear. That's how stuff work, bro. And not everybody like, oh, you know, germs. And Look, bro. And those kids who grew up like that don't be getting sick for real.
Nope.
So look, so they say that pandemic-related isolation and lack of peer interaction likely played a major role. So these kids moving forward as they get into the workforce, they literally have to be re-socialized. Yep. Since they missed this, I don't know, 2-year window when you like 4, 5, and 6. That's when you like starting to read facial expressions and starting to pick up on them small non-verbal cues during conversation. And these kids were completely robbed of that. Yep. Completely and utterly robbed. And the only way that they could catch up is like, you got to go back 2-3 years. Yep. And just imagine when you learning your fractions on. How you going to learn your fractions online? Fractions still, to this day, fractions still beat me up. And I was in school. So, you know, the fractions, you know, you got to learn your multiplication, your division and everything. But they had to do that online. And you know kids today, all they do is this. On the iPad. On the iPad. So they got the attention span of a goldfish. So there's no way they were sitting at the computer for 8 hours a day learning. They weren't learning. They may have been sitting there, but they weren't learning. So they say potential long-term consequences for education, mental health, and social skills. So now we saw, I think we did a episode on that when Trump was bringing homeschool and he was trying to do all this stuff for homeschool. So that was a smart move because, you know, he got advisors in the corner talking about, this whole generation of kids got messed over because, we wanted to do a lockdown. Yep. So, I mean, it's just absolutely disgusting what they did to the children. And, you know, evil always seeks
and
to harm the innocent.
We're going to go more into detail that on the next episode.
Yeah.
Lockdown, that's just a little
teaser.
That's a little appetizer.
Teaser. that's your spinach and artichoke dip. So yeah.
So I got something like that to bounce off of. So we got, you know, after these origins come out and you know, the media talk of, where did it come from? Was it bioweapon? Did China really do it? Did it come from a bat? You know, did it come from a lab?
A bat.
All this, and I got these, you know, these fear tactics by the you know, media and all these people.
Let me hold on. Let me interject here. When we do the episode on the vaccine, remind me to print out a picture of the actual virus so you can see that they got all these different delivery systems on it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then we go overhead shot that.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
So we got all these, you know, social media platforms. You know, for past 2 years, from 2020 to 2022, Turn on the news. What would you see at the bottom of the screen?
Like deaths.
COVID death counter.
Yeah.
No matter what they were covering.
Yep.
COVID death counter. So no matter where you look, even
It's
on
there.
the news, even if they're not even covering it, it's there.
Fear.
It's there, and they would use these strong words like, hospitals are overwhelmed or grim occurrences. All this stuff.
Packed full.
Yep. Then of course we know all well. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, they were censoring the discussion of lab leaks until mid-2021. Which, if y'all are watching this series, we're probably going to have to bleep a ton of stuff out. Like Bovid-related words.
Yeah.
You might have to bleep them out.
Yeah.
I don't know. So still, that just proves to you we're still under effects of the censorship of talking about this stuff. So James, where do you think it came from?
I already said Wuhan.
Yeah, do you think that they were they're messing with the virus on a bat?
I think that they did it on purpose because I remember seeing somebody put it under a microscope and you see an HIV delivery system over here and all this different stuff on it. That's not man-made. I mean, that's not naturally occurring.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, no.
So
Wuhan.
Yeah, so speaking of that, a Chinese virologist, studies viruses.
Yeah.
He fled to the U.S. He claims COVID-19 was engineered as a bioweapon. Says Chinese government covered up early outbreaks and manipulated WHO, World Health Organization. Leaked DARPA documents suggest researchers were aware of high-risk coronavirus work. CERN proposals mirror was later seen with COVID-19. So their previous work, it was a mirror of COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
And U.S. Senate even reports they acknowledge lab leaks as a viable theory.
Look, bro. If the Chinese what is it?
Virologist.
Yeah, there you go. If he said it, then come on, bro. That's from their own camp.
Yep.
That's from their own camp. So I think it's ridiculous. People say, "Oh, it wasn't man-made," and the government wouldn't hurt us. Okay. Okay. That's fine. You can live in La La Land all you want. We are just strictly here to present you with information. We present the buffet. You choose what you want to eat.
Oh.
That's it.
Oh.
That's what one of my favorite teachers at school told me. He present the buffet. You choose what you want to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, just to I got a little bit more on the implications and everything. So since we're on the topic of the vaccine, well, we aren't on the topic of the vaccine, but shortly thereafter, how long the vaccine took? A couple months, huh?
I think it was could be wrong, anywhere from 3 to 5, 6 months.
Yeah, it came out like that.
And not to mention, it was a new type of vaccine that's never been mass produced before, mRNA.
Yep.
So they got not only the fastest vaccine ever created, ever, but it's also a new type of vaccine that is very rare before COVID.
Right, and people was lining up to.
Yep. I got more of that on the lockdown.
Yeah. So
more on that.
let me hit on this real quick. So Trump, he just recently got in. Come on now. They thought they could hold him. That didn't work. Anyway, reinstated over 8,000 service members discharged for refusing the COVID-19 vaccine. So, that's another thing that was affected. National security is affected because they wanted to force everybody to put this in their arm. They don't even know what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You remember when we watched that died suddenly video and she pulled out the thing and there was nothing on it?
So that's a great
Gotta
documentary.
Gotta clip that.
Typical package insert that we see with any vaccine. When you open the box, next to the vial, you find a package insert that has information about what the product contains. And this is a typical vaccine insert from a vaccine that helps protect against meningitis. It's a more traditional childhood vaccine. And the other label that I'm going to show you, the other package insert, came from a box of mRNA product. So vaccine that was brought to the clinic for the purpose of giving that to children. And this should look the same as the other package insert that I showed you. But yet when we open it almost 2 years into this, we find that it still says intentionally blank.
That's a great documentary. It's this documentary. It's called Died Suddenly. It came out and it was discussing. It was discussing how all these people were dying suddenly after they were taking the Bovid-18 vaccine.
Bovid.
And we're going to cover. We basically going to cover a lot of what that documentary said.
Yeah.
In the
coming episodes.
Bovid-18
we
vaccine
have a
video.
whole episode dedicated to just knocking down on that.
It's going to be a fun one.
Yep. So, yeah, the executive order also directs the new Secretary Pete Hegseth to restore rank benefits and back pay. So this is a reverse of what Biden did. In 2021, the Biden administration mandated COVID-19s for all service members. Yeah, so I knew a couple guys that was in special forces. They was talking to me, and they was talking to some other buddies, and they was like, "Yeah, we not taking that. Mm-hmm. We don't know what that is." And I'm talking about these dudes they was them, the ones who really do the dirty work. That's not the ones you want to lose.
Yeah.
Because it take a certain type of mental profile to go overseas and end up at somebody's home and put bullets in them.
And I was talking to a couple of buddies. You know, they were all for the vaccine at the moment, and they're like, "Why would the United States test an experimental vaccine on the people who protect the United States?" That is not the first time. This is not the first time they've done that.
Yep.
It is not the first time they've done that. And also, Bill Gates has also, he's all pushing vaccines and stuff. He infected AIDS to those African villages.
Yep.
Remember that?
A bunch of them.
Yep.
And he was behind the polio vaccine that killed a bunch
and the
of them.
polio vaccine.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So it wasn't just what people saw at the surface level. They thought it was just about the virus. No, this was hitting multiple levels deep of damage that cannot. It's not that it's irrevocable, but it's gonna take a minute to get back.
Yeah. This was a very
strategic,
calculated attack.
Yep.
It crippled multiple branches of everything.
Yep.
Economy, health, whole bunch of stuff.
Yep. So that's just a little bit about what Trump did. He's trying to get transgenders from serving in the military, which I agree with. If you can't decide if you're a boy or a girl, you don't need to be running over there with no gun.
Oh.
That's just my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And then, he talked about shifting stuff to the border. So, look.
Speaking of Trump, while doing research for this, he wants to, release a bunch of information about the pandemic.
Good.
9/11, John F. Kennedy, all that stuff. He wants to release a whole bunch of stuff.
Got to. Got to. Him and Cash Patel and all them, they got to, this is their time. They got 4 years to make something happen. Let's make it happen.
Yep.
Let's make it happen. So, yeah, when we're thinking about Bovid-19 and we're thinking about its implications, we got to think about, we can't just look at it one-dimensional. You got to see, okay, this crippled, this crippled. Okay, if this crippled, then what does that do to this? And what does that do to this? You got to think of it as a sequence of events like dominoes.
Yep.
Dominoes.
Yep.
Yeah, so, as these series drop, we going to drill down deeper and deeper on some topics that we think people should know about. Definitely the vaccine, definitely the lockdowns, definitely the economic implications and everything else. Because now that they kind of getting lax on it, we can really, express ourselves to the fullest extent. Yep. So, if you got something else you got to say,
that's it for the origins.
Okay, I'm going to hit this. So, talking about the Bovid-19 vaccine, right? So, the creator of mRNA, Robert Malone, said he would not give that to his children. I remember seeing it because I was watching it.
Shocker.
I was in high school at the time when everything was going down and everybody getting vaccinated. And I'm like, bro, I don't know what that is, bro. And I'm seeing videos of people in the hospital taking it that just hit knees. I'm like, nah.
So let me get this straight, James. Let me just re-clarify. So Fauci won't let his kids take his vaccine, and the creator of mRNA won't let his kids take the vaccine.
Yep. He said the vaccine provides immunity and protection. Now, look, mind you, you remember this when we was in school, the vaccinated kids would test positive for COVID.
Oh, yeah.
How?
Look, if I can find it, I'm going to put the clip. So, someone found Fauci saying, oh, yeah. If you take the vaccine, you'll be 100% safe from COVID. You won't get it.
Yeah.
Boom. 6 months later, him saying, oh, I've had COVID 2 or 3 times now, and I'm so the vaccine, reduces the risk and reduces the symptoms.
That they are not going to get infected. I got infected about 2 weeks ago. It was my 3rd infection, and I had been vaccinated and boosted a total of 6 times.
When we do the episode on vaccines, we're going to put the definition. It's supposed to provide immunity. Immunity. So I really didn't get that. And then Robert Malone came out, creator of mRNA, said this is dangerous gene-altering material.
Yep.
That we haven't had time to test. But keep in mind, it take like 10 years to test a vaccine. They didn't do no animal trials. They didn't do no studies, no nothing. Just pushed it out. Warp speed.
On that video, we're going to go through a complete time. Look, for the vaccine video, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through a timeline of a normal vaccine. Mm-hmm. Then we're going to go through a timeline of the vaccine. Because the vaccine skip.
Like 3-4 stages.
Yep.
Straight through.
We're going to cover that.
Look, this is what I'm saying. When I seen it, my spidey senses went off. I'm like, nah, that really don't make sense. I don't see how you got this off that fast. And then I'm seeing all these people come down with these symptoms. And I'm just praying my family don't get hurt. Mm-hmm. Because, like, not everyone look at the news how we look at it. Yeah. You got to, like how sunglasses got different filters for different stuff, bro. You know, you got your black lens if you're in the sun a lot. You got your blue lens if you're on the water. Yep. So you got to be able to switch your lenses and see what they doing.
And just a reminder, the first year of COVID, and this is according to .gov, the first year of COVID, this is before vaccine. 3.3 million deaths. Right. And I believe that was in the United States. Yeah, that had to be in the U.S. 3.3 million deaths out of 85 million cases. Crunch the numbers, that's a 3.88 mortality rate.
Right. And the survival rate of COVID for people like our age and a little bit older was 99.9%.
But you got all these people. Oh, my kid is triple boosted.
Yeah, what? And then they wonder why their kid suddenly had myocarditis at a basketball game and died of a heart attack. Yep. Should have put that in your kid. Yep. And then they want to talk about, oh, you anti-vaxxers killed my kid. No, I didn't.
Look, I'm not going to call him out, but a roommate on Suppressed Reality, roommate at the time, that football player, he almost died on the field. I think he technically did die.
Oh, perfect kid.
And he's on the field, hit cardiac arrest, whatever, and roommate at the time, he's like, oh well, if you tackle somebody perfectly, then that could stop their heart. Then they were interviewing the same dude in the hospital. Yeah, so what happened? I can't say that. I can't discuss that.
Yeah. Did you take the COVID vaccine? I can't say that.
I can't discuss that.
What causes heart to stop beating? You're 24, peak physical condition. Could run circles around me right now. How did doctors describe what happened to you?
That's something I want to stay away from.
Yeah, you know how many people in the NFL done got hit by bigger dudes than that? Ray Lewis, Brian Dawkins, just absolute monsters.
Or what about back in the day without pads or nothing?
Exactly. Troy Polamalu. Come on, bro. So yeah, but basically, getting back to the study. So a peer-reviewed study analyzed RNA vaccines at an FDA research facility. The study detected DNA contamination exceeding regulatory thresholds. Mm-hmm. All right, so let's hold on. Let's underline that right now. Now, that's not to say that's not a smoking gun, but that's something to look at, right? That's blood trail to the bathroom, right? Now, these small fragments of SV40, which is a promoter and enhancer, were found, but researchers stated they are unlikely to be functional. Okay, this study aimed to improve trust by advocating for stringent monitoring of DNA impurities in vaccine. Okay. The study found only DNA fragments smaller than 35 pairs were unlikely to be oncogenic. Mm-hmm. However, this study suggests that original DNA impurities. So what we're seeing is, if you go back up to the top, mRNA vaccines at the FDA research facility detected DNA contamination. So mRNA affects DNA. Okay, so these people don't even know what they're doing, but they trying to edit my DNA. Come on now. Now, we already mentioned that Robert Malone said that this is a new technology, and I would advise people to stay away from this. But yet, Fauci, you got to take your booster shots, and we have to stop the curve. And that's all I was hearing from him, bro. Now, why did they do that? That's what you got to ask yourself. Maybe they just wanted to kill a bunch of people. I don't know. But what cannot be argued is the implication that it had over multiple sectors, and we saw that. We saw that. Now, I remember when hold on, let me correct myself. Bovid vaccine came out. I would see on the news a list of symptoms: myocarditis, whatever. These people would have like stage 1 cancer. They take the vaccine to stage 4 cancer.
Oh yeah,
like that.
And people that had cancer and being in the past, cancer's all of a sudden coming back after they take the vaccine.
Yep. Come on now, they got stage 4 cancer, or people who didn't have cancer at all have cancer.
Oh, yeah.
Or people who were healthy. Now have a shitty immune system.
Now, do you know what causes cancer? Well, not what causes, but do you know what the process is of cancer?
It's when cells over-replicate.
It's when cells don't, cells, they split and they replicate. But the thing, they aren't told to stop replicating.
Over-replicate.
And you know what's that from? DNA. The DNA is the blueprint.
Right.
So inside the DNA is that little thing that says, hey, stop producing cells right now.
Yep.
And what does this mRNA vaccine do?
And it sure did. But look, we just did it. Overhead shot on the footage. It contaminated DNA. Now, look, I don't know about y'all, but I don't even know these people, and I damn sure don't want them touching my DNA. I don't. I mean, it's ridiculous that these people think that they are so above the law that they can do something like this. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's all I got here. This just a little something, starting a new series.
Yep.
We're going to be posting multiple videos next week.
Yep.
On the lookout.
Mm-hmm.
Like and subscribe, follow. You got anything to say on that?
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. Next episode is going to be the lockdown episode.
Yep. We're going to go into deep depth. We're going to talk about not only the U.S., but other places, what these people were doing, what it did to the economy, and everything else.
Then after that episode, so on Wednesday, is going to be the vaccine episode.
Yep.
That's going to be a hot one.
Y'all be ready for that.
That's going to be a hot one. And then Thursday, we're going to have what now? What is now? 4 years later? 3 years later, whatever it is. Some new things that are coming out about the Obama industry, administration, all this. So we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. Thank y'all for watching. Subscribe. Everything else. Comment. Check out the shorts. Look, y'all check out the shorts now. We really be putting out shorts more than we put out long form. So, yeah.